Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight here on Q2. I'm Zoe Zandora. We start tonight with the news of Senator John McCain, who served the United States in both the military and in Congress, who has died. His family announcing that he passed away Saturday afternoon at his Arizona home after a long battle with cancer. CNN's Ryan Nobles reports on his life and legacy.
He was a war hero, always at the ready for a good political fight.
God bless you and God bless America.
A statesman with a reputation for siding with his conscience. Senator John McCain led a life of duty and service.
There's nothing nobler than serving a cause greater than your self-interest.
Born to two generations of admirals, McCain graduated from the Naval Academy and later trained as a pilot. At age 30, he saw his first combat during the Vietnam War. On his 23rd mission in 1967, a missile hit his plane. He ejected, was captured, and spent more than 5 years as a prisoner of war. The bonds he formed with the other prisoners, he said, changed his life.
Well, the camaraderie, the friendship, the love that we had for each other was still the most remarkable experience of my life.
In 1973, McCain returned home, physically disabled, hailed as a war hero. Upon retiring from the Navy in 1981, he relocated to Arizona with his second wife, Cindy. A year later, he was elected to the United States House of Representatives, where he served for 2 terms. In 1986, McCain won a seat in the U.S. Senate and held it for more than 3 decades.
The thing I liked about the Senate, if there's an issue up on the floor of the Senate, I can go down and talk, I can go down and propose an amendment, I can go down and, you know, sometimes I can go down and make a fool of myself.
As a lawmaker, McCain remained close to military causes. He took aim at pork barrel spending and worked with Democrats on health care reform. At times, his willingness to buck the will of his own party earned him a maverick reputation.
Be strong, have courage, and fight.
In 1999, he announced he was running for president, but ultimately endorsed George W. Bush. In 2008, he earned the Republican Party's presidential nomination. His Straight Talk Express bus became an emblem for his campaign as it crisscrossed the country, selling voters on tax cuts, national security, immigration reform, and healthcare deregulation. But he lost the race to Senate colleague Barack Obama. Then came the Trump presidency. McCain surfaced as one of Trump's most outspoken critics and part of the so-called Fearless 5 GOP senators who defied the president during his first year. But at a time of great political turmoil, McCain had to face his own upheaval. In 2017, he was diagnosed with brain cancer. After surgery, he returned to the Senate for a critical vote, his party's push to repeal Obamacare. McCain's maverick reputation on vivid display as he derailed Republican efforts with a defiant thumbs down. A dramatic last chapter for a man finally free, as he said, to vote without reservation.
Our reputations, our character, are the only things we leave behind when we depart this earth.
John McCain, a naval aviator and senator who embraced his destiny and led a life of national service.
This evening, Senator Jon Tester was in Billings. We were able to speak with him about his time spent with McCain and his reaction to hearing the news of Senator McCain's passing.
Look, the country is cheaper tonight than it was. John McCain was an American hero. Sacrificed a lot for this country. I consider it an incredible privilege to have served with him in the United States Senate. As I think back on John McCain, we had our battles, but John McCain was somebody who was true to his word. When he told you something, you could take it to the bank. And he was somebody that fought for right. And so as we think over the next few days about what John McCain has meant to this country, I think it's about all the good this country has to offer.
In national news, parts of Hawaii have been swamped in recent days by nearly 4 feet of rain. In many places, it's still pouring as the storm slowly moves away from the islands. Maria Villarreal reports.
Hawaii's Big Island bore the brunt of the storm's wrath. After more than 3 days of rain, they've recorded almost 4 feet of water. In one Hilo neighborhood, rivers overflowed, sending rushing water down the streets.
It's just the volume of water, it couldn't hold it already. I've never seen that before, and then the small bridge plugged up above, and that's what flooded all of these houses.
Strong wind shear tore through Lane Friday night, downgrading it to a tropical storm.
We dodged a bullet. Doesn't mean it's over. We're going to have rain and wind and local flooding, and we need to be vigilant.
So I just put everything in plastic bags so it wouldn't get wet.
Businesses in Maui prepared for the worst as Hurricane Lane peaked at a Category 5 before making landfall. Were you taking Hurricane Lane seriously?
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I've seen a lot of storms here, but the way the path showed, yeah, I knew it was going to be something big.
As many as 17,000 residents across the Hawaiian Islands lost power during the storm. Some of it was knocked out when high winds fanned fires in Maui and Oahu.
I would just like to emphasize that there still is the potential for flash flooding and rain damage.
Beaches and parks in Oahu and Maui are reopening, but Tropical Storm Lane isn't expected to clear out for the next few days. On the islands, they are expecting more rain and high surf, and that could bring the potential for mudslide as well as more flooding, especially on the Big Island, where the ground is already saturated with so much rain. Bidea Villarreal, CBS News, Maui, Hawaii.
And now join here with meteorologist Connor Pregitzer.
Yeah, I mean, that's big news coming out of there, the downgrade to a tropical storm, but it is important to remember that those categories are ranked by wind speed, not precipitation, so with the potential for strong precipitation still sticking around there. Now here in Montana, of the same category, but we're monitoring some Pacific moisture that's heading our direction and figures to land. Pardon me if you couldn't be hearing me there for a second. We had a little technical issue. We got it fixed. We're taking a look at some moisture that's heading our way. Obviously not the same level as the hurricane, but some Pacific moisture that's figuring to land in our laps on Monday, bringing us a little bit of rainfall to add to what's been a wet couple of weeks for us here in Billings. Over the course of the day, Sunday into Monday, picking up a little bit, and then the bulk of the rainfall coming on Monday. A large area of Montana looking at about ½ an inch of rain. I'll break down the full forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Connor. President of the University of Montana, Seth Bodner, rolled up his sleeves and got to work earlier today, helping new students move into their dorms. Today is the first day of move-in day, but students paying for early move-in have been pouring in steadily throughout the week, filling up the 7 dorms on campus. Bodner said he hopes the entire community will help to welcome students to Missoula.
I think it's really important that students and families feel incredibly welcome here on the campus, and they get started off on the academic year on a good foot. You know, this is the transition to college is tough for everyone, and we want to open the entire arms of this community and wrap them around these new students and make them feel welcome, excited about being here.
Today at Walmart, the Salvation Army provided 60 kids with free back-to-school clothing and shoes. Each year, the Salvation Army uses some of the money that is raised from its Christmas Kettle coin collection to help families in need to buy shoes and clothing for their kids when school is about to start. They usually give a $100 voucher to 30 selected children, but this year they were able to help 60 children after a last-minute $3,000 donation.
These are kids that were on the waiting list. These are kids that may or may not have been able to get clothing, and they're here and they're going to get it, and this is awesome. Parents are extremely happy, a lot of stress off their shoulders. Kids are going to school with new clothes, with new shoes, and they feel good about themselves, and that's what it's all about.
Some other folks feeling good for sure, and they know how to race into the weekend. The all-Euro car show packed the grounds at Veterans Park this afternoon. The 11th annual event is put on by the Absaroka Region Porsche Club. 75 colorful cars revved up for the show, all originating from countries across the Atlantic. From Volkswagens to Alfa Romeo, Triumphs and more, many makes and models were represented at the show. Something special also happened at the show today. A group of Lamborghinis made the trip from Canada to drive to the Beartooth and Chief Joseph highways and managed to make a pit stop in Billings to give people a chance to do some well-deserved rubbernecking.
We had the special privilege of some Lamborghinis came out of Canada this year just for our show. We're the Porsche Club, so we have a lot of Porsches. We have MGs, Triumphs, an Alfa Romeo, a Fiat. It's a good variety of old and new European cars.
The All Euro Car Show is a fundraiser for a scholarship that is the Porsche Club gives away to a student in the automotive program at MSUB City College. Over their 11 years, the club has given away close to $10,000 to charity. Still to come here on the 10 o'clock news on Q2, we head out to the Billings Clinic Classic and hear from Q2's Jenny Fick about the evening and events that are going.
Probably. No, oh, you're right there. Okay, I was gonna say it sounded like it. So we're almost there.
You're watching MTN News with Zoe Zandora, Storm Tracker Weather with Connor Pregetzer, and Sports with Casey Conlon. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.